Hi friends, it's Miss Kathy back for another story time. Today I have some books and activities about gardens. Do you plant a garden in your yard? Do you grow vegetables or do you plant flowers? Well, I decided to come down to the library's gardens for our story time today. I hope that you will enjoy the things that we're going to share. So, if you're ready, let's begin. Open and shut them, open and shut them. Give a little clap, clap, clap. Open and shut them, open and shut them. Fold them in your lap, lap, lap. So let's start with our first book.
My Garden by Kevin Henkes. Published by Green Willow Books. My mother has a garden. I'm her helper. I water, I weed, and I chase away the rabbits so that they don't eat all the lettuce. It's hard work, and my mother's garden is very nice. But if I had a garden, there would be no weeds, and the flowers would keep blooming and blooming and never die. In my garden, the flowers could change color just by my thinking about it. Pink, blue, green, purple, even patterns. And if you picked a flower, another one would grow right back in its place. In my garden, the rabbits wouldn't eat the lettuce because the rabbits would be chocolate and I would eat them. If I planted seashells, I'd grow seashells. If I planted jelly beans, I'd grow a great big jelly bean bush. Sometimes in my garden, good, unusual things would just pop up. Buttons and umbrellas and rusty old keys. In my garden, there would be birds and butterflies by the hundreds, so that the air was humming with wings. The tomatoes would be as big as beach balls, and the carrots would be invisible, because I don't like carrots. At night, the morning glories would stay open, shining like stars, and the strawberries would grow like lanterns. It's night now. Only the fireflies and the porch light are glowing. Before bed, I take one seashell from the shelf in my room and go to the garden. I poke the seashell into the ground. Who knows what might happen? I cover it up with dirt and pat down the dirt with my foot. "What are you doing?" asks my mother. "Oh, nothing," I say. "Just working in the garden."
Well, we're ready for our first activity that's called 5 Little Flowers. So you're going to hold up your 5 fingers and we're going to pretend that those are flowers. So we have 5 little flowers standing in the sun. And then we're going to talk about our flowers nodding. So you're just going to kind of move your fingers up and down in a nodding motion. And then they're going to bow one by one. So we're going to close up our fingers into a fist, one finger at a time. Then the rain is going to come down. So we'll do this motion and the 5 little flowers are going to lift up their heads again. So let's see if we can try it, and we'll go through it twice. We'll do the motions and the words so that you get to hear them, and then maybe the second time you can try it with me. 5 little flowers. 5 little flowers standing in the sun. See their heads nodding, bowing one by one. Down, down, down falls the gentle rain, and the 5 little flowers lift up their heads again. All right, have you got it? Let's do it again together. 5 little flowers standing in the sun. See their heads nodding, bowing one by one. Down, down, down falls the gentle rain, and the 5 little flowers lift up their heads again. Good job. Now, before we go to our next story, it's going to be called Plant the Tiny Seed. You're going to notice that there are some things that you can do along with this story as I'm reading it. So see if you can follow the directions. You'll be doing things like clapping, pretending to have the rain come down, touching the flower heads gently, snipping the blooms, chasing the snails away. So as I read, follow along with the directions in Plant the Tiny Seed.
Plant the Tiny Seed by Christy Matheson. Published by Green Willow Books. There's magic in this tiny seed. Press it down and count to 3. Plant another, then one more. Press them down and count to 4. Wiggle your fingers to add some water. That's enough. Now rub the sun to make it hotter. Tap the cloud and wish for rain. Clap to bring the sun again. Ah! Find the worm. Look for its tail. Shoo away the hungry snail. Tell the little bud good night. Guess what you'll see in the morning light. Wow! Now point to the purple flower. Bzzz! Tap the cloud again. It's another rain shower. Touch the blossoms gently, please. Ooh, now jiggle the plants to scatter the seeds. The purple flower needs a clip. Swipe across the stem, snip, snip. Close your eyes, wave your hands in the air. Oh, look, there's magic everywhere.
Well, I hope that you enjoyed that story and you were able to follow along with the directions as I read. We are ready for an activity. I have my cookie sheet magnet board and a little poem to share with you about something in my garden. Now, you try to guess what it is before I place each one on the magnet board. Here's how our rhyme goes. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I can't really see. Hear its funny sound? Squeak, squeak, squeak. A mouse is what I found. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I can't really see. Hear its funny sound? Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. A frog is what I found. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I can't really see. Hear its funny sound? S, s, s. A snake is what I found. There's something in my garden. Now what can it be? There's something in my garden that I can't really see. Hear its funny sound? Chirp, chirp, chirp. A bird is what I found. Did you guess all those animals that were in the garden? Good job. Well, we are ready for our next story.
Lola Plants a Garden by Anna McQuinn. Illustrated by Rosalind Beardshaw. Published by Charlesbridge. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. Lola loves her book of garden poems. Her favorite poem is the one about Mary, Mary. Lola wants to plant a garden. Mommy says there is room near the vegetables. Lola gets books about gardens from the library. She chooses her favorite flowers from the books. Mommy makes a list. They go to the garden store to buy seeds. Lola and Mommy make the garden. The seed packets mark where the flowers are planted. Lola will have to wait a long time for them to grow. Lola makes her own flower book while she waits. Mommy types the Mary, Mary poem, and Lola glues it in. Lola makes a string of bells. She finds shells and some old beads. She even makes a little Mary, Mary. One day, Lola sees tiny green shoots. She pulls up weeds so the shoots can grow. Lola's flowers grow bigger. They open up to the sun. Daddy helps Lola hang her shiny bells. Lola finds Mary, Mary a special spot. It's just perfect. Orla, Ben, and Ty are coming to see Lola's garden. Lola and Mommy make cupcakes. Lola wears her flower shirt. Mommy helps Lola with her hair. Lola's friends love everything about her garden. They share the crunchy peas and sweet strawberries that Mommy grew. Then Lola makes up a story about Mary, Mary. What kind of garden will Lola plant next? Lola, Lola, extraordinary, how does your garden grow? With flower seeds and shells and beads and happy friends all in a row.
Well, we are back for another activity, and this time we're going to sing a song together. It has some motions, and it goes to the tune of The Farmer in the Dell, and it's called The Gardener Digs the Soil. So our first motion is the gardener is going to dig the soil. So we'll just pretend we have a shovel here. Then he's going to plant the seeds. So we'll pretend that we're just dropping seeds in the ground. The rain is going to fall on the ground. The sun is going to shine bright and warm. Then you can bend down a little bit because the plants are going to begin to grow and the flowers all around. And then the last verse is fresh vegetables to eat. So we'll just pretend that we're eating some vegetables that we have grown in our garden. So let's go ahead and we're going to sing it together. The gardener digs the soil. It goes like this. The gardener digs the soil. The gardener digs the soil. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The gardener digs the soil. The gardener plants the seeds. The gardener plants the seeds. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The gardener plants the seed. Rain falls on the ground. Rain falls on the ground. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. Rain falls on the ground. The sun shines bright and warm. The sun shines bright and warm. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The sun shines bright and warm. Plants begin to grow. Plants begin to grow. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The plants begin to grow. Flowers all around. flowers all around. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the flowers all around. Fresh vegetables to eat, fresh vegetables to eat. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, fresh vegetables to eat. That's a fun song to do together. We are ready for our last story.
And the Good Brown Earth by Kathy Henderson, published by Candlewick Press. When Gram went to the vegetable patch, Joe came too. It was nearly winter. "Now's digging time," said Gram, and she picked up her spade and dug that ground into big old lumps. Joe dug too. He made a hole and a heap and a squashy place for squelching in. And the Good Brown Earth got on with doing what the Good Brown Earth does best. Next time Gram went to the vegetable patch, Joe came too, and there was snow on the ground. Joe ran and jumped and slid and whooped. Gram stood and looked. "Now's thinking time," said Gram, thinking about all the things in her gardening book. Joe thought too. He thought up a snowman. Next time Gram went to the vegetable patch, Joe came too, and there was spring in the air. "Now's planting time," said Gram, and she raked out the loose earth, smooth as breadcrumbs, and planted seeds in long, straight rows. Joe planted too, lots of seeds, here, there, and who knows where. And the Good Brown Earth got on with doing what the Good Brown Earth does best. Next time Gram went to the vegetable patch, Joe came too, and the birds were singing, the trees were flowering, and the rain and the sun were chasing each other across the sky. "Now's watching time," said Gram, keeping an eye on those hungry birds, and she made a scarecrow and stuck it in the ground. Joe watched too. "Gram, Gram," he shouted, "there are green spikes coming up." Next time Gram and Joe went to the vegetable patch, it was green all over. "Now's weeding time," said Gram, and she picked up her long-handled hoe and grubbed up all those weeds between her vegetable rows. Joe pulled up a few weeds too. At least he hoped they were weeds. Then he rolled in the long grass and sang. Next time Gram and Joe went to the vegetable patch, it was hot, hot, hot. The plants were drooping and the earth was dry. "Uh-oh," said Gram. "Now's watering time." And she hooked up the hose to the old tap and ran it on the plants, sweet as rain. Joe watered too, mainly himself, and he gave Gram the second ripe strawberry. Soon Joe's Ma and Pa took the whole family to the beach, and Gram and Joe went too. "Now's resting time," said Gram, stretching out for a snooze. The sun shone and the breeze blew. And the Good Brown Earth got on with doing what the Good Brown Earth does best. Day after golden day, until the next time Gram went to the vegetable patch, and Joe came too, of course. What did they find? Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow! There were Gram's plants standing tall and ripe and lush. And there were Joe's, higgledy-piggledy, tangly, fantastic. Joe jumped up and down and hugged and hugged and hugged his own Gram tight. "But what? But how? But who?" asked Joe. Gram hugged him back. "You'd have to ask the Good Brown Earth," she said. Then she took her long-pronged fork and opened up the ground. and there were pale brown potatoes like buried treasure, and carrots and parsnips and beets. "Now's gathering time," said Gram, filling her basket. And Joe gathered too, beans and greens, ladybugs and grasshoppers, dandelions and fat tomatoes, and he ate so many blackberries that purple juice ran all down his chin. And when they'd finished gathering, Gram and Joe loaded up the wheelbarrow and set off home, ready for feasting time. And the good brown earth got on with doing what the good brown earth does best.
Well, I hope that you have enjoyed our books and stories about gardens. I know that I planted some vegetable seeds this afternoon, some cucumbers, and I need to get my soil turned over in my garden so that I can finish my planting. Maybe you can plant some flower seeds or some vegetable seeds. As spring is here, we're getting the nice warm sunshiny days and the cool nights and the rainfall. So who knows what can happen at the end of the summer if you plant some flowers or vegetables. So now it's time to say goodbye. If you want to stand up, and we will tickle the clouds, tickle your toes, turn around and tickle your nose. Reach down low, reach up high. Story time's over, so say goodbye. See you next time.